Friends, this is Ashish Saxena, mystic, entrepreneur and your guide to the promised land. Today we are going to discuss about tarot cards and the divination through tarot cards. Tarot itself is a very good tool to predict something or when you want to communicate with the unknown. What I mean by unknown is any unknown future or any spirit or God or your subconscious mind or the universal unconscious mind. So when you want to communicate and when you want to know something that is beyond the human perception, then tarot gives you a very efficient and very good access to that particular thing. And it is very good to solve mysteries, any kind of mysteries, any kind of criminal cases or any kind of complex situation or complicated situation where you have very little facts in your hand. So this is one question, that what is the comparison or what is the need of tarot card when you have a very good system of Vedic astrology or any kind of astrological system. In Vedic astrology you need birth time and birthplace and some accurate informations, but in tarot card you don't need any kind of information or any kind of pre-info. You don't need any kind of information. You just need the basic name and the query. That's it. And then you can open up everything in front of the client, you can say, or in front of yourself. Everything opens up automatically. It's a very good sign language. Actually, the tarot is a very good sign language. And my journey with tarot started from the Hanuman Sadhana. It's around 2005-2006 and I was in Hanuman Sadhana at that time, and it just occurred to me that I want something, I want some kind of tool to instantly get an answer from Hanumanji 24 hours a day without any going into some sort of dhyan or some sort of sadhana or some sort of thing. I just needed a efficient tool, and then I heard somewhere about tarot cards, and then I get this type of Indianized version of tarot, Indian tarot cards, and it's of Ramayana theme. The original history of tarot, I will give you a brief idea of the history of tarot. Originally, tarot cards originated in or appeared in the written history in 14th century CE, current era, as playing cards in Italy, and then it spread all over the Europe. But actually, the root of tarot lies in the Egypt, in the ancient Egypt. But in the modern era, it started in Italy as a to entertainment purpose, card playing, like playing cards, cartomancy, we can say, and it started as a playing deck. The first tarot deck was a playing deck, but in the 18th century, current era AD, the English speaking country, it started as a tool for divination, and Rider Waite Smith tarot cards was first published in the 20th century AD. So we of late what we use, the tarot deck or the spreads we use are from the Rider Waite Smith. Normally people omit the Smith and they say the Rider Waite. Rider was the publisher, Waite was a mystic, and the Smith was a lady. She painted the tarot cards on the theme of what Mr. Waite told him from his mysticism. So, coming back to the divination point of tarot cards in our lives. So my journey started in 2005 and 6, and it was a very efficient tool. It proved to be a very efficient tool in my life, and since then, even today, I use a software in my cell phone to instantly answer any question, or if any question comes to my mind, then I get the answer instantly from that particular software. So it's a very good tool and it's a very good process of divination. And we have to understand that anything, even from anything from Europe or anything from Africa, if it helps in our spiritual journey, or if it answers all our spiritual questions or the questions related to our practical life, then it's good. We don't have to stick to a certain thing that this is our thing and this is a foreign material and we should avoid any kind of cultural influence or anything. But my opinion is that if anything helps you to break through in your spiritual progress or in your spiritual upgrowth, then you should use it without having any kind of prejudice. So my advice for tarot cards or tarot readers of this modern era is that they should improvise the tarot deck according to their community standards or their community needs. When I started using tarot cards, I improvised them according to the Hindu tradition or as per the client's requirement. So I changed the meaning I reassigned some cards according to my need or the client's need at the moment. I have this kind of thing to just immediately change the meaning or reassign the meaning according to the client's question. You can say I have made a kind of procedure, or I have established a new kind of mechanism in my mind to read the tarot according to the client's need of that particular moment or at that particular time. The basic tarot cards we use these days are of 78 cards, and I have said earlier that it's a Rider-Waite-Smith tarot cards. Nowadays there are all kinds of tarot and all kinds of different cards are also available in the market. They are based on different kinds of belief systems like angelic tarot cards or somewhat Chinese tarot cards and all on Chinese astrology, feng shui and everything. So people are experimenting with the tarot and they are developing their own tarot. It's very good. It's very good. But what I want to say in this thing is that we should stick to the basic tarot card system or the basic paintings depicted in the tarot cards, because they hold a particular thing that excites your intuitive mechanism in your mind. That is the basic point of the painting or the this kind of sign language. It excites a intuitive mechanism of your mind that easily gets you the answer you are trying to achieve. So coming back again to the basic point of tarot cards, that there are 78 tarot cards, 56 is minor arcana and 22 is major arcana. Major arcana holds all the spiritual realms and all the knowledge of spirituality, and the 56 basic cards are the cards of practical reality and the material world. So we have to merge all these cards, and then it's a basic, very easy process to shuffle them like playing cards, and then we arrange them in certain kind of spreads. And there are some traditional spreads, and you can make your own different kinds of spreads. The improvisation should not exceed that extent that it loses the original soul of the tarot cards. That's what I'm trying to say. We should improvise them according to our needs, but we should not lose the essence in the process. There's one thing more. We should not. The tarot cards are very addictive in nature, like the playing cards, and that's why people say that there is some sort of satanic element related to the tarot cards, or demonic, something demonic. But I want to emphasize that they are very addictive because they are very interesting. So people get addicted with the tarot card like they get addicted with the playing cards. And if somebody draws spread sitting in a room or in a lonely place, then I think that it will lead to a certain kind of depression after some time. If we repeat the process for many days or for months, then it will lead to a sort of depression. So it's a very interactive actually kind of thing, activity. So one should restrict it to drawing cards for other people or with somebody. The quarrer should be present in front of him, and it should not create some sort of loneliness or depression, because it's very addictive. So there's a sort of danger of going into the area of unknown or in the unknown realms, and then getting all sort of spiritual depression. And what I want to say is that don't compare it with the basic astrology. Tarot is something very different. There is one weakness with tarot card, that you can predict time accurately. You can predict the timing of the events accurately from the tarot system. One can improvise it according to the time, but the basic tarot card doesn't give you the answer for the timing of certain events. They give you a vague idea of that it will happen in months, or it will happen in days, or it will happen in the current future, or it had happened in the past. So we should not compare it with the traditional astrology, because traditional astrology gives you the correct timing of event, because it starts from certain time. Because tarot doesn't require any kind of pre-information regarding time and everything. So tarot is a very good tool in some cases where you don't have birth time, in some situation where you don't have a starting point. So tarot gives you a very, very fine idea, and it's a marvelous tool. One get every kind of information, and anybody can learn it in let's say in a month or so. It's not a very lengthy process, because it's 78 cards. Maximum time one can take is 78 days, one card at a day. And then it depends on the practice and the intuitive capability of the particular person. So it gives you a very good idea of a lot of things in your day-to-day lives or in anybody's lives. You can draw a card without seeking anybody's permission. You can draw cards of film stars. You can draw cards of politicians, political parties, elections, or results, or you can predict percentage of students in their exams. You can do anything. And one more thing is that the tarot card doesn't shows a solid future. They say or they predict the future from the current point of time, current point of reference. So if you see a person dying in some days, if tarot tells you that a particular person is going to die in some days, you should use it as a warning, not as a solid future that it's going to happen anyhow. That's not the right way to read tarot. Tarot just give you a vague idea, and actually it's not a vague idea, it's an exact idea of what is going to happen. But you or the person, the quarrer, has a chance to change that particular future, and that is the whole purpose of any kind of divination, whether you use astrology or you use any kind of method like dices and everything, or even tarot. The main purpose is, if you have the idea of future, you can change it. This is the basic motto one should consider while approaching a tarot reader, or while approaching an astrologer. Or if you are a tarot reader, then you should consider this thing, that the client has a chance to change his future without any sort of worship, or without any sort of upai. We generally hear in the astrological circles. Our mind and the capability of a human being is sufficient to change the future. If you know the future, you can change the future. That is the whole idea behind all these things, tarot and everything. So I guess I have given a brief introduction of tarot cards, and in this video, in the end, you will see some spread of some general questions, one or two questions, so that you can get an idea of how to predict or how to use it as a divination tool. Kindly let me know any queries or anything if you have, and and I will recommend it to everybody that everybody should learn this art, and it's a very, very fine art, and it's a very strong thing. And with years, one gets hold on with the practice, one gets hold on tarot cards, and they can achieve unimaginable levels. So I will recommend everybody, to even kids also, to start doing it early. Like these days we are talking about coding, start doing it early. So do let me know anything else you want to know about tarot cards and what I used to do, or what I have experimented with tarot. Kindly drop in your comments. Jai Maa Kali. So let us see about some spreads related to the current issues of national and international politics or scenario, to gain some insight. And let's see how tarot speaks to us about all these issues. So I am going to pull out a spread, and it's a 7-card spread which denotes past, present and future 3 time zones, and 6 cards show us past, present, future, and the 7th card, top card, shows us denotes us the key factor. So let's see what tarot has to say about corona disease and how much time it will take to cease. It's just an example session, so I'm trying to push for more accuracy as far as I can. These 2 cards are past cards for the past, and these 2 cards denotes the present, and these 2 cards denotes the future. So 2 for past, 2 for present, and 2 for the future, and this is the signifactor, or this is the guidance, or this is the key card for this question. So what does it has to say? The basic thing we see it, that it started in the past and it spread very rapidly. This is a card for high energy situations, and this is also a card of high energy situation. We are just moving from high energy situation of or high corona case rates towards a sort of initiative. The humankind is taking some sort of initiative. So it shows that in just some coming days we will see some sort of vaccine or initiative is going to occur. And these 2 cards say that the human spirit will overcome by what you can say, by knowledge, King of Cups, and by hard work, or by, we can also say that some sort of Ayurvedic or some sort of medicine, some sort of new thing will come forward in support of this, or in support of the treatment of the coronavirus. And this signifactor card, it shows that basically I have assigned it as Venus, the card of Venus, and it shows that this whole situation is actually happening from nature to human, and the planet Venus is playing a very key role in all these issues. So the general idea is that it's going to be end in the coming days. But as I have said earlier, that corona or in any question, if we are asking, the tarot card doesn't give us a accurate time or particular time frame. So it's just a vague idea of what we will see in the coming future. Okay, now we will pull out a Celtic cross spread. It's a 10 card spread, and we will gain some insight regarding the China issue, the China war issue with India. What will be going to happen and what are the key factors of this issue. So we are going to pull out a 10 card spread. This is called Celtic spread, Celtic cross. This is the root cause. This shows the root cause, and these different cards shows us the different dimension of the problem of the issue. So the root cause is, now you see the accuracy of card. You can see the accuracy of card because I have a very you can say a deep interest in this issue in the martial or the combat issues. So I want to explain it in this is very good card. Now this root cause shows that the China done some sort of aggression with this wooden stick, you can say, and that was the Galwan fight we had seen in the past. And these are two basic points. One is the Lover's card. It shows the military action, and and this 10 of Wands shows the military action with clubs, wooden clubs. Okay, and this is a card where everybody is looking for like what is going to happen, and the China has everything with him, and he's looking for another or more land acquisition through force. And this is the position of China. These two cards show the aggression or the desire of China, and this card shows that it requires some sort of some sort of learning or some sort of manufacturing or some sort of manufacturing of borders and everything, craftsmanship or some sort of construction work and all these things. And this shows that it will eventually, this type of confrontation will eventually convert into loss of money for China. Actually, China is thinking that he will construct something or he will get something, and other people also thinking, all the countries of international community are thinking that it will free Tibet and everything, but actually it will lead to the loss in economy of China. And this card, this is the last card, and it shows that India will succeed because it's a spiritual card. I think, in my opinion, it is also actually, it shows also the Hindutva card of today, or even the Dalai Lama's position will become strong. So the conclusion is that the whole situation, the whole position will convert in the favor of India and Tibet and the exile government of the Tibet. So this is Celtic cross card, and it's a very good spread, and Celtic cross gives great insight because it's a 10 card spread. So I guess I've shown you two types of spreads: a 7 card spread which shows past, present, future, and a 10 card spread. For more questions and queries, please comment in the inbox.